What up, bitches? Welcome to the 8th episode of the FBG podcast. Whoa! Thank you guys so much for joining me on the couch today. I have been studying as per usual. All I do, all I ever do, is what I've done all day. But we're taking a moment to sit down on the couch and talk about mental health because if you didn't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month and it's something that most of us struggle with, which is absolutely awful, having a battle in your mind every waking moment of the day. However, I am in a place where haven't felt this good and this stable in a while. So let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about my experience and let's talk about how I've slowly but surely been able to climb my way out of the mental health hole that way too many of ourselves find us in. It's so important to talk about this kind of stuff because it can be so difficult to navigate. However, if we share our experiences, our tools, and we talk about it more and more, it'll become a safer place to recover. I have definitely had my fair share of mental health issues and mental illnesses. I realized I had OCD when I was 12. I had awful death anxiety when I was 15. And I have dealt with depression for as long as I can remember, which honestly sucks because we are gifted this life for 80, 90 years, and it just sucks that we spend so much of it depressed and in bed, but it feels like there's not much that you can do about it. With me and my experience of depression, I view it as a cold. When you have a cold and get sick, you can drink lemon honey tea, you can take sore throat medication, you can take Panadol. But there's only so much of that will help a little bit, but it can't cure your cold altogether. Sometimes you just need to wait it out and the cold eventually leaves. And that's how I viewed my experience with depression. When I get depressed, I don't try and claw and scratch my way out of it. I just kind of realize, okay, this is like a cold. I'm going to feel like shit, but it's going to pass because in my 22 years, I've had depressive phases, countless of them. However, I always find myself out of it. I always find myself, even if it's for a day, a week, a month, that I don't feel this excruciating, awful, mind-numbing depression. I realize that it's just certain parts and you can't always control it either. Like, I've come to find that at least once a year, it's normally around this time, but this year I'm trying really hard not to let it happen, but around April, May, I would get so excruciatingly depressed, and then by the end of the year I wouldn't be. And I've come to realize that maybe it's turning into winter, that I know that I'm going to get upset, I know I'm going to be sad, and I know I'm going to feel awful. But I realize that by the end of the year, by the time it's summer, I'm okay again. And viewing it as kind of a cold that you just need to get through is kind of a better conceptualization, and not letting it encompass you and not letting yourself think that this is who you are and what you are and what you will always be. Because when I get really deep in the depression, I feel like this is my whole life and this is what my life has always been, and it feels like there's no way out of it. And there's things you can do, because when I used to get depressed, I used to play my guitar, I used to draw, I used to meditate, I used to read, I used to journal, I used to do all these things, and I'd get so annoyed and upset that none of them worked. But I realized in therapy that you do those things not to make yourself not depressed anymore. You do it to take care of yourself while you're feeling depressed. And that changed my entire mindset on self-care and self-help, because doing those things with the goal to not make yourself feel depressed isn't always going to work, especially when you do it over and over again and you expect a result from it. Changing it and realizing that it's just to love yourself and to take care of yourself makes it maybe more of an enjoyable experience, because after I'd do all those things, I'd be so angry that I still hated myself and life and everything. But yeah, doing those things is taking care of yourself, not trying to fix it. Depression like plagues every single part of you, and it can be so hard to see the good when you're deep in it as well. And it just feels like your entire life is just grey and bland and weak and unworthy. And convincing yourself otherwise can be so hard. And then just like when you rot in bed all day on your phone, when you have moldy dishes in the sink and you haven't done your washing and you haven't showered and you haven't brushed your hair and you haven't already said shower and you haven't brushed your hair and brushed your teeth and all that kind of stuff. It is bloody awful and it sucks. But I think it's really important to notice that you're undergoing depression and realizing that, okay, I'm in a depressive period. When I'm doing all those things, when I'm in my depression and that's what's happening to me, I try to pinpoint, this is depression. This isn't who I am. I'm not lazy. I have a mental condition. I have a chemical imbalance that is making me feel like this. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with who I am as a person. I'm a good person. I am clean. I am worthy. I don't want to be laying in bed all day. I am motivated, but separating a condition that's in your brain that's not your fault and who you are as a person, I also think is really important, because when I'm in that phase, I just feel awful about myself. But when you separate your thoughts into who you are and what's happening to you, it kind of alleviates the horrible feelings that you have with depression as well. The way that I've kind of come out of it is, how do I put this? Okay, I'm just going to be honest, all right? Last year, in September, I was really depressed. Like really, really, like notes depressed. And I was writing, and I was screaming, and I was crying. And then as I finished my last note to the last person, I looked up and I stared at the wall and I was like, holy fuck, I can't do this. Holy fuck, I can't do this. Are you fucking kidding me? I envisioned what it would be like if those people read what I said. I thought about my parents, I thought about my friends, I thought about my brother, I thought about everyone who would have received that and how that would make them feel and what it would do to them. And I looked up and I was like, holy fuck, I can never do this. I can never, ever hurt myself. I can never let depression, anxiety, mental illness at large take this life away from me and then plant or rip or make the biggest hole in someone else's life. And in that moment where I clicked, I have never been depressed since that moment, which is kind of strange. But that's kind of what happened to me in my mental health. After I realized that I could never ever hurt myself, I was like, well, fuck. If I'm going to stay, I might as well have a good time. And that experience has catapulted my life. Like I said, I've never been this happy in a while. I feel great. And going into this April, May, I don't think I'm going to get depressed again, because after that and after realizing that no matter how depressed I get, I'm staying, it's just made me happier, I guess, because for me, when I would get really, really depressed, I'd always just lean towards just not dealing with it at all and removing myself quite completely from the situation. But now that that is not on my agenda at all, and it never will be for the rest of my life, it's made those feelings of depression, it's really mitigated them. And it's helped me tremendously, realizing the fact that I could never ever do that to myself. And I feel great about it. And no one can or should do that to themselves either. I've never said that out loud, which is pretty crazy. Oof. Sometimes when I talk about things on this podcast, I'm not in therapy at the moment, and when I talk about stuff on the pod by myself on the couch, shit that I haven't really kind of gone through and processed, it can be kind of a lot for me to take in. But yeah, that experience has alleviated my mental health completely, and I have not been depressed since then. I still have bad days. So, like 2 weeks ago, I had an awful day. I was on the verge of tears. When I got home, I was like, oh, I fucking hate this shit. Like, ugh. And I was like, this is a bad day. And what I would do in the past is I'd experience that bad day and I'd completely disregard all the other good days I had before that, and I think everything else in the future is going to be a bad day too. But as I've been able to kind of take a step back and realize, okay, this is shit. Tomorrow's going to be better. And every single time tomorrow has been better because I don't immediately divulge in that depressive, anxious, everything's awful mindset. I can kind of categorize and compartmentalize, I don't know if those are the right words, the things I'm experiencing instead of making it my whole experience is this bad day. And it's the same thing with the depressive episodes. I pick out what's making me depressed. I pick out this is a phase where I'm feeling sad, and I have been training my brain to realize that that's not my life. That's not everything there is, and that's not what life will forever be as well, which makes it easier to deal with alongside that. And another thing that's really important and something I've been doing recently and I've been implementing from therapy is feeling your emotions. I sound like, oh, if you're depressed, go drink water. But when I get sad now, I feel it. When I need to cry, I will cry. I will feel everything that comes my way without fear, because what ends up happening is that you bottle it all up and it comes out in eating disorders, it comes out in other mental illnesses, it comes out in addiction. But when something upsets me, like that bad day that I had, all those bad days that I have, I think I'm having a bad day. This is making me feel upset. I don't like that this happened to me. My stomach kind of hurts. I'm a little bit anxious. Oh, I hate that. And I allow it to come, and I allow myself to feel it, because that has helped me also tremendously. Been implementing everything from therapy. Realizing that I'm feeling like shit, acknowledging it and allowing it and not being scared by it or fearing it has really let me maintain this really higher energy, this ability to process and to go through the bad days, and to not necessarily avoid the depression, but be aware that if it's coming, I have the tools and I'm not going to be scared by it. I'm going to allow it to come, but I'm going to take care of myself while it's happening, knowing that eventually it will stop, and also knowing that even if I get real depressed, I ain't going anywhere. It's like, oh, well, fuck, might as well enjoy myself then. That's the kind of perspective that I have about it. I still struggle with anxiety pretty badly. It's so much easier with my anxiety living by myself, funnily enough, because when I'm around people too much, I get quite anxious with just everything, whatever you get anxiety about. But when I'm home by myself, I don't need to worry about this person, that person, what they're doing, what they're thinking. I'm alone and I'm just me. An analogy that's really helped me with feeling anxious is you could be sitting in traffic on your way to work. You're on the Auckland motorway and you have 20 minutes to get to work and it's completely blocked up. If you sit in that car and you go, oh, holy fuck, oh my god, I'm gonna be late, oh my god, I'm gonna be late, oh, I'm so anxious, oh, I'm so angry, oh my god. You're gonna get there, get to work at the exact same time if you went, and didn't think, feel, or do anything. And that kind of analogy, applying that to my life, has really helped with my anxiety too. There is so much that you can't control. The only thing that you can control is your reaction to it. And when you react with grace, with peace, with understanding, with love, and with calmness, it makes the entire experience a lot more bearable, because when you start to realize that no matter how much you stress, no matter how much anxiety you have, the outcome will largely remain the same. There's only a certain extent to which you can control, and the rest is up to the universe, to other people, to whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. So much of it is out of your control, and the only thing you can focus on is you, is your reaction to it. And being able to kind of take that in and believe it and apply it has really helped with my anxiety as well, because it can be difficult to kind of extract and take apart what you can control and what you can't control as well, and it makes you anxious that you can't control all of these things. But the fact that you can't, no matter how much anxiety that you have over the fact you can't control it, it's not going to do anything, so you might as well just chill. Just like in the traffic, you could sit in you can't imagine stressing about how you can't control all these other cars. There's just nothing you can do about it. So while you're sitting in the traffic, you might as well be chill. If that makes sense. I'm sure it does. I hope it does. I really need like subtitles of what I'm saying so I can see everywhere that I'm going. But developing those kind of tools and those mindsets has been really, really helpful for my depression and my anxiety. The help of antidepressants has also been really good. I've been on those since 2022 on mirtazapine and sertraline. The sertraline has completely killed my OCD. I've been dealing with that since I was 12, so I can't speak too intelligently about mindset shifts about that, because the sertraline, if you're struggling, sertraline, and I'm only on 25 milligrams as well, it's so good. Realizing that you're having a bad day, that you're feeling depressed, that you're feeling anxious, is the first step into making yourself feel better. Feeling the emotions and accepting them and taking care of yourself while you're feeling them is the next one. Getting excited about life and excited about what the future holds is another one, while also trying to live in the moment and be grateful for what you have as well. It takes time. I'm 22 and I've only just stopped being constantly depressed. And it was after that moment where I wrote those notes and I realized that I could never do it, that my life has completely changed. And I don't think I'm going to be depressed for a very long time, and if I do, I know what to do about it. It just sucks that mental health is so prominent in our lives, because we are so gifted to have this experience, and part of the experience of life is to feel the highs and to feel the lows, but sometimes depression hits you in that certain angle that no one should ever experience, and that's not a part of what it's like to be alive at all. And one thing that like pisses me off so much is, bro, when I was like 15, 16, I was so fucking sad. So sad. I used to spend my Friday, Saturday night staring at the walls crying. And I wish, every single time, I wish I could just tell that person, like, it's going to be okay, you're going to be okay. And I love you, and to just live and to live and to live, because you're too young. Don't want to say life's passing you by, and it's not your fault either. It was never my fault, and it's never your fault, but it just fucking sucks. Why are humans conditioned to be sad? Why are we conditioned to be anxious and have self-confidence issues and hate ourselves and all that kind of stuff? It's like we're programmed to constantly be sad and to be buying things and to doing things to make ourselves feel better, and it just fucking sucks, because the older I get, the more I think, I wish I didn't spend so much time being upset. I wish I didn't spend so much time hating myself. But having that kind of perspective is really hard to implement when you're deep in it as well. You know, when I would be really depressed, I could tell myself everything. I could tell myself, oh, I'm too young. Oh, I'm too hot. Oh, I got all these good things going for me. Oh, everyone loves me. But it still sticks there, which is why realizing it as a cold can be helpful. At least it was for me, because it kind of takes away that stress and that guilt of not being able to understand or appreciate those affirmative things that we tell ourselves to try and make ourselves feel a little bit better about it. I'm so grateful for my life, not being upset and not being sad and anxious all the time. And I really wish that I kind of had this feeling later. But I'm just grateful that I am now. Fuck depression. Fuck anxiety. And fuck shitty mental health. There's always light at the end of the tunnel though. And you're never alone. Even though sometimes it feels like you are. And even though it sometimes feels like there's no light at all and the only escape is by permanently removing yourself from the situation. But once you realize that you can never do that, I've found that life gets a little bit easier, a little bit brighter, a little bit more bearable, and a little bit more of what we were put on this earth to do. I need to go to Pilates, so I'm going to end it there. But it was really great talking about mental health and talking about a bit of my experience. And I'm hopefully going to stay this way. And if I do find myself falling into the April-May depression trap, it's past April, it's May. If I find myself falling into the May depression trap, I'll watch this video and I'll know what to do. Okay, I love you guys so much. And if you're struggling, I'm sorry. It's shit. But it's like a cold. And a cold eventually goes away. Sometimes it's weeks, it's months, it's years. But you can never ever do anything to yourself. And if you're not going to do anything, you might as well say fuck it and have a good time. Okay, I love you guys so much. And I'll see you in episode 9. Whoop whoop. Love you.